Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. Today we get to learn how to battle with the twist of the tail. Alright, it's a quick little intro on what we have to do today. After I got that lower wing set and everything's ready to go, I didn't go ahead and put down some more balsa underneath the saddle and then come in with sandpaper because I need just a little bit of clearance, not too much, maybe 10 thousandths, 20 thousandths tops, because we're going to be working with fabric covering and I have to be able to account for the fabric covering and the paint on the surface. So you have to have that little bit of relief before you start even covering the plane. So as I started getting ready to do that, and I'll bring you back and show you, I realized I had a little bit more than just a little bit of a problem with the tail of the airplane. And you'll see, trust me, you'll see. And the whole thing is try to figure out how we're going to fix it. So until we go back and I explain it to you guys and then I start dismantling, because I have to figure out where the problem is and how we're going to fix it. Because right now this is a fuselage has been glued together because we don't know, because I did not build this plane. The state that you're seeing it now in the fuselage, I've repaired part of the front because I think we're going to be on video number 16 on this one, or episode number 16. As soon as I got the plane, I realized there was going to be problems because let's just say the plane was donated to me. My initial assessment of what needed to be done, I knew there was going to be a lot of little stuff needed to be done, but you don't know how much really needs to be done until you start working on it. That's why, so if you're going to go ahead and give somebody an estimate to fix something, you've got to take some time to really look and inspect to figure out how much you think it's going to take to do it. But because this plane is mine, if it takes me 3 or 4 hours to fix it, it's no big deal. It's just my time. Because parts to fix it are going to be pretty much just balsa. And I've got plenty of balsa back there in that stock. So that's really not a big issue with me. Let's go move the cameras back there and let me show you what the problem is and how we're going to try to fix it. If you noticed, we're missing a little bit of something back here. I came in, the wing was balanced out. So we had everything set up the way we needed to go ahead and see how everything was going to fit on the tail. So I grabbed the horizontal stabilizer, took a look at it, it didn't seem right. So what I did is I took a piece of balsa, and it's 1/4 inch, 3 by 1/4 by, I don't know, probably almost 3 feet long. And I went ahead and laid this across the top and looked from side to side on the wing, and it was not right, period. It was so wrong, I had to come in and make some measurements. Came in, measured from this side down to the level surface, 220 millimeters. This side over here, 223 millimeters. It's an 1/8 inch higher on this side than this side. So somehow, somewhere, some way, there's a bit of twist in the tail end of this fuselage. Everything measured straight on the sides. Pretty much, let's just call them risers. All the risers on the side, they all measured out to the same millimeter. So it was all put together. The diagonals all measured the same. I'm trying to figure out exactly where everything went wrong. It's possibly it all went wrong right here. This was way too short. I was going to have to add on to it anyway. I'm going to split this down, take it apart, and yes, I'm taking more of the plane apart, but I have to fix it. I could have come in and just put a slight riser on this side and then took a little bit off on this side and got my balance. And that's probably what I'm going to end up working towards in the end. But I need to go ahead and fix the tail before I even come back up to here. This side from the table up was 61 millimeters. And this side over here was 58, with the same size, the same side of So somewhere that twist happened. It could have happened right in this last 6 inches before it goes into the tail. So I'm probably going to have to start cutting parts of it together. I want to keep the rails, the bottom and the top. I don't want to have to mess with that at all. So I may come in and just separate the two diagonals on either side and see what I can do. So once I cut this loose here, I'll go ahead and separate that, because this piece is going to be replaced anyway. So once this is released, so I can move it around freely, I'll see what it's going to take to get this to do exactly what I want it to do. And I'm hoping it's going to be easier. It all depends what's going to happen when I cut apart and the wood becomes released. We'll see how well it wants to work with us on this one. You can see it. You can see what I did. And you don't have to question my sanity. We already know. That left me years ago. So the issue, trying to find out what was causing this to rotate, because this side was 3 millimeters higher than this size was. This once again was a 220 millimeter. Over here was a 223. So this was higher up than this side, which caused it to lean. So it came on in, and I couldn't figure out, when I cut the back, nothing changed. Started taking things apart. These sprung out this way. That was understandable. You knew that was going to happen, because there's still a certain amount of residual tension in the wood. Now, as I lower it down, you can take a look and see we're pretty much at 0 here, and we're about 3 degrees right there. So the problem was, when he was putting this together, even though we had proper measurement, this needs to be higher up. And if you looked, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. I'll get you down low to see if you can see it. Right here, you're going through the arc. It's starting to turn up, and then right here, it kind of puckers a little bit. This measured the same. So the question is this kind of curved like this right here? For what reason? It's very possible that because this piece here, even though it measured the same length as the other side, apparently it wasn't long enough. So what I'm going to try to do is I'll prop this side up a little bit. I'm going to cut another piece of diagonal to go from here up to the top up here. I'll tentatively glue it into place. And then once it's in there, I'm going to go ahead, and this is going to be pretty much a whole day affair. I'm going to come in, I'm going to put something that's going to cause a little bit of rotational torque on the assembly. So it's going to be longer than this. It's going to be lifted up on this side. So this side is going to be sitting, and so once again, sorry about the darkness. This side right over here is going to be propped up. And then I'll put torsion through here, so it's going to want to rotate that. So I'm going to go ahead, and then we're going to set it so that I'm going to spray down the whole side. I'm going to get everything wet down here, because I want it to induce that twist into it, and when it dries, see how much of that we can hold. Because I'm hoping we're going to get it close up to where it needs to be, so we're almost touching it. If we're almost touching it, that'll be fine. So right now, if I put it back together again the way it is, it's still going to want to twist. So I have to try to stop that twist from happening again. So let me go ahead. I'll get this thing all set up. We'll get it all wet down, and then I'll show you what it looks like, and then we're just going to have to cross our fingers and hope for the best. All right, I just got done taking care of it, and as you can see, I didn't put anything in here to put a little bit of torsion on it to get it to rotate. I decided to do the smart and easy thing. Go inside, grab a piece of pine, make a wedge. So I went ahead, pushed the wedge in there, and as you can see right now, it's sitting right up against it. So it's putting a little bit of pressure up on this, which is okay by me, because I'd rather have it pushing up into that. So right now I put a wedge in instead of putting a new piece in. A new piece will come later on. And right now, and I don't know how well you can see it, some of that curve is starting to come back in again. So a little bit of a pucker is going away. So I'm just going to get this real wet, and then go upstairs for a couple hours and Probably start editing this video. How my life works. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I certainly did not forget about you on this one, guys. Let's go ahead and show you kind of sort of where we're at. I'm not still, once again, not that happy with this. All right, now everything is measured out, and yeah, that's a big mess right there. I had to take it out from inside there because it's a little cold this morning, and right now it's warming it up so I can move this back outside. And just to show you, it's 2:30. So yeah, I've been at this for probably about 2 hours just trying to get it where I've got everything balanced back out. So let me show you what I had to do. All right, this side over here, nothing. I just removed this piece, the crossbar. I had to cut this out, which I think you saw the mess before. So I've already got everything cut. So this will have to be pretty much just cut out to length, and that will end up being glued in. Right now, I'm not worried about that diagonal yet, and I'll show you why. To get this side over here, I had it balanced outside pretty well. And then when it came time to get everything attached on the inside, it still wanted to drop. Right now, we are at 223, 223. So off the flat top of the surface, we're solid. I had to come in with a little teeny spacer. I could not get it to do what I asked it to do because it keeps wanting to migrate back. This piece right here is spruce. It's just sitting in there right now because I need a bunch of tension on this because we're still trying to rotate. The issue doesn't start here. The issue starts all the way up here. So as you can see, this is level. This is where we started to see a little bit of a twist. And in order for me to go from here, I'll take it back a little bit, to go from here all the way back, I mean, that's more than half the plane, the length of the plane, the fuselage. So I decided we're not doing that. So even though I came in, made all measurements in all of these, this one here on this side is 146 millimeter and it's 145 on the other side. I'm okay with that one because remember, we're taking care of it here too. So all these were cut at the same exact length. It was when he joined them together, and because this is where it started. Yeah, I'm not tearing that much of the plane apart. Now from the back, what it was, because this side was lower, it was a clockwise twist, and that's from your perspective, and right now mine. So what I was trying to do was to get all the height and everything else taken care of the way I needed to. You couldn't get the twist out. When I came in here, and I'll show you on this side because it's already here, this side over here was not touching at the bottom, was touching at the top of the square. Right now, it's square. So it's square on this side, square on that side. I had to come in with a diagonal. Right now, this is what is sitting in here. It's spruce, just like this. It's not glued in. I had to come in and overextend it because I'm getting it. So right now, all the longerons are wet. I'm trying to twist everything counterclockwise, just a little teeny bit. And that's going to be tough because we have a wood surface up on the top. So I have not sprayed the top yet, and because that's not really going to do me much good. I just have to see how much of this twist I can get out. Yeah, so that's the fun I'm having. So I just had to bring you guys in just to see what's going on. As this thing sits and dries out normally, I'm not going to heat it up. But I'll come back down here probably in about maybe an hour, 3:30 my time. And see what it looks like when I pull that diagonal out. Just goes to show you, if you're going to build a kit even off of plans, make sure everything is set up properly, and then when you're putting it together, check this stuff is you're gluing it together. Typically what I do is I'll put the formers in place not glued in. Have everything clamped together and come in and make sure everything is where it needs to be before you start. I think this one, because it seems like it might be a, you know, first or second build by this person, because I think it's a level 3, which is, it's not expert, but I think it's advanced, which is kind of sort of, I'm going to put myself in that position because I've got a couple decades of doing this. So keep your fingers crossed. Bring it right back. Something still looking wonky on the back, but that's just the way it's looking. This is tried up and it's true. It comes all the way to the back. This is not glued into place yet. Now, this we're going to be shaving probably about a 1/4 inch off because I made this long, and then we'll go ahead and put it on. Because back here, if I push it just a little bit, now you can see it. I'm hoping you can see it. There it is. So we're good with the way the H stab is measured up back here. So I'm okay with this. Now, this is how I originally knew that it was wrong. As we come on in, we're going to slide this up. And this is going to be, have that 1/8 inch spacer right about there to put this where it's supposed to be. We got to take that off, so that's a good 1/4 inch. It's got to come off, but you can see how much more I have to extend this. So what I'm going to have to do, because you see how this is tied in, I'm going to have to redo this bottom section. Possibly. I got to see what I can cut off here. If I can cut off here, go down, make it flush, and just as long as this is glued properly to this piece down here, which is the plywood, I can still cut this off and then go ahead, because it's going to be, this part here is going to be made out of some solid. It's not this piece, but it's going to be a solid piece. I've got some good chunks of thick balsa. I think I got some old vintage kits where I should be able to find something in here to piece together. Anyway, regardless of my balsa down there, I'll find something. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just make a bigger block so I can have it so it's going to sit where this part here sits, so that way I'm not taking this diagonal out, because I still got to put one over here. But if I cut it off right about here, I should be able to hopefully come on in and join it. I'm hoping. I'm really hoping, because that's why I have friends that try to look out for my best interests. Ask me if I need to go see a therapist. But I don't. Alright, I'm giving you guys a somewhat overhead view of what the heck we are looking at today. And it's been quite a bit of me sitting down here for hours trying to figure out how we're going to go ahead and get this rear section put back together again. I do have the twist out of it. I still have my little diagonals you can see down here. And once again, that will be turned into it's going to be a hard balsa, so it's a heavier weight balsa that's got better strength to it. That will replace the piece of spruce, such as the little piece down there on the bottom, the other diagonal, that's going to be just regular 1/4 inch balsa. So I've already got this piece ripped and ready to go. I just got to cut it and get it all angled out. Now, switching cameras real quick, one side to the other. 2, 1. Okay, what we are looking at right here. And because I decided I had to set this back up on plans, because I can kind of walk you through, but there's still issues with the tail end of this plane and where everything should be at. But it's not going to affect anything. Just because this top piece is a little bit higher up, just as long as we get the right angle of slope on the back for the horizontal stabilizer, the plane's going to fly just fine, and nobody but me and you guys will know about it. So what we're doing down here is, because I already came in and drew lines approximately where this should be, and I wasn't too far off. I was probably about a 32nd or less than an inch off, maybe 64th. So this will be end up getting terminated right there. But what we're going to do, we're just going to leave just so I've got a reference point. Like I said, because I don't want to sand really past that, and that's going to be how this whole thing is getting attached on. And this piece down here is just going to be the rear of the fuselage. It's where the rudder attaches to. So this has already been kind of sort of set at the right angle. I may have to adjust this one a little bit more. It's not that big of a deal at this point. And what I'm going to have to do on the other side because I need to show you, is that if we go with the plans, that's how much farther that has to extend. So the bottom part of the upright is going to be where it's going to come in at. So it's going to come out to here, and this part is going to come on in. So you can see which part of this I will be removing, because I want part of it to sit on this. I'm going to cut this and flatten it off. So that way when this drops down onto it, all the spot where he started rounding it over too early, that'll all be eaten up by this piece. It's going to be an interesting piece to cut. But that way it will not only be the rear of the fuselage, it's going to have more support than it normally would have, and so it's going to be stronger than what he originally had in there, and we should not have any issues with that. So let me go ahead and get started with this, and then when I get it to a point where I'm getting ready to start re-gluing pieces back together again, I'll bring it back just so you can get a look before I start gluing. As you can graciously see, I do have the rear little center support in place with the right angle. So we're going to be at pretty much our 3.5 degrees. We're at 3.4, 3.5 degrees, and we're going to keep it where this plane was originally built at, because I'd rather have the extra, you know, almost degree of up on it to counterbalance anything that may happen somewhere on down the line. So let me go ahead, because I do have the little flat piece sitting across here, and I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but she is level. So I'm going to try to see if I can get it to drift down slowly enough so you can kind of see that wing disappear. And like I said, it's kind of hard to get the right perspective through this camera on what you're looking for. But with what I'm seeing, I'm pretty darn happy with that. That's something to work with. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, let me finish putting this piece together, and then I'll bring it back, show you what everything's going to look like, and then once this is all reattached, we can consider the fuselage, I hate to say it, we can consider the fuselage done. At this point, everything is taken care of structurally. I went ahead, put the diagonals in. Still have to put a couple little balsa triangles back here just to help stiffen up the side. That will be done off camera. So you guys will see that as we progress along with the rear part of the fuselage. From time to time, you may see it pop into view. So the last thing I have to do structurally back here is I'm going to put another gusset in. Actually, another viewer, his name is Joseph, he had a question on the gussets. Very simple. What I do is, it's just pretty much, there we go, let's get in focus. It's a 1x1 piece of 1/32 plywood, and then all I do is just go ahead, and I've always have multiples of these things just hanging around, the little blocks, because this was the last one that I'm using on this project as far as I know. I just go ahead and trace on the outside, so that way as soon as it's time I need another one somewhere on down the line, just got to cut it out and it's ready to go. And I always keep multiples of these things already cut up, sitting in one of my drawers, just waiting to be used. So the way these are going to get put in place, just mix up some 5-minute epoxy. Once you get the epoxy on it, you're going to come in, slide it up where it needs to sit, and then just a couple simple little clothespins just to go ahead and clamp that thing into place. Because it's 5-minute epoxy, wait about 5-10 minutes, take the clamps off, and it's ready to go. Can't get much easier than that. All right, I hope you can see that. 3.6 degrees. I'm okay with that. It's been quite the battle. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been a long video too. I'm sure you can feel that as well. So the only thing I have left to do back here is put some tri-stock, put some triangle pieces. We're going to have one up in here and then one down in here, and that's just going to add a little bit more rigidity to the tail of this. So 3.6 degrees, I'm okay with that because with my conversations I've had with you guys and with people online, I'm okay with raising this up. So instead of being 2.75 degrees, it's going to be 3.6 degrees. I would rather have to make an adjustment with the top wing on the cabane mount than back here on the tail. A couple people I've talked to said they never had an issue with it at all, and it flew great. And other people said it flew horrendous. So as you can tell by all the work that I've done so far on this plane, because once again, I didn't build it. I got it in kind of sort of this state. It's just been me repairing everything. It's a whole lot of time repairing it. Got many years experience doing this kind of stuff, so it does not bother me in the least, because it's just pretty much my time. So if any of you guys have any comments, go ahead and make them down there in the comment section. I pretty much read every single one of them. Some I don't respond to, but I do read them all. So I think the best thing to do right now is we're just going to go ahead and call this a video. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. I'm back down in the shop.